Watching ICE and their associated thugs running around brutalizing and disappearing both citizens and non-citizens alike with seeming impunity, you may assume this madness is something new under the sun. It isn't. Folks who were around during the 1920s and 30s could vouch for that, but since there aren't many of them left, we'll have to trust historians like Howard Zinn instead. The labor movement in the U.S. was heating up during the first 2 decades of the 20th century. Tired of being treated as virtual slaves, workers in the mines, factories, mills, and fields started to organize, form unions, and challenge predatory capitalism. Strikes became commonplace and violence often flared. The robber barons who controlled industry fought back viciously by hiring armed thugs to infiltrate unions, attack strikers, and murder labor organizers. They were aided and abetted by corrupt politicians who sent state militias and National Guard units to pacify labor violence, but just as today, they joined forces with the thugs against the strikers. The thugs themselves came from the so-called detective agencies at the time. The Pinkerton Agency was the most famous. Ironically, it had been started by a Scottish immigrant, Alan Pinkerton, who had fled his native Scotland after being identified as a member of the outlawed Chartist labor movement. Initially, the Pinkertons provided security for the railroads and chased such famous bandits as Bush Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and the James Gang, while pioneering many of the crime-fighting techniques later used by the FBI, such as fingerprinting and criminal databases. Unfortunately, after Alan Pinkerton's death, his 2 sons, raised in the lap of luxury, decided it was more lucrative to betray their father's roots and throw in with the robber barons. The Pinkerton Agency was rivaled by the Baldwin-Felts Agency, which was possibly even more brutal in their methods. Between them, they and the state militias were responsible for the deaths of scores of strikers in locations like the Ludlow Massacre in Colorado, the Latimer Massacre in Pennsylvania, Blair Mountain and Matewan in West Virginia, and dozens of others. So no, this isn't new. Men with too much money and no morals can always find other men willing to do their dirty work, whether it be armed thugs working on contract, state militias, or local police. Just follow the money. You see, far from an honest effort to rid the country of dangerous gang members, this brutal racist targeting of undocumented workers is just another cynical money grab. Trump is paying back the for-profit prison industry for investing heavily in his campaign. Every person arrested and confined represents dollars in their pockets. Money's the motivation for the ICE thugs as well. They're on a quota system, paid for every arrest they make, whether the person they grab is undocumented or a citizen. Did you notice almost every person they arrest is at work, putting the lie to their claim these are dangerous criminals? Another of their unscrupulous tactics is showing up to asylum hearings where the folks they are persecuting are technically legal. Know this, when the liar-in-chief has assumed room temperature and sane people have recaptured the House and Senate and impeached half the Supreme Court for their partisan outrages, there will be a reckoning. Like the Gestapo before them, these brutal bastards will face their own day in court, and it won't be pretty.